Good night, everybody. I'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Good morning. It's 4:45 a.m. I'm Mac, and today I'm off to India. Got my giant suitcase, my little backpack, and it's gonna be a 20-something hour trip, so wish me luck.
Alright, we got that thumbs up from our crew. Do I have any pre-orders this morning?
One last taste of home. Fast forward to 10:30. I'm in Chicago. They actually made me leave one terminal, go out of security, and into another one. Fortunately, having to go through TSA, nobody seemed to complain that United got my name subtly wrong on my boarding pass. Mackenzier. Fast forward 18 hours. It is now 6:30 p.m. New Delhi time. I'm sitting at the Lalit Hotel, which is adequately luxurious for my taste. And man, is it story time. So first things first, it was a 14-hour flight to get there, and I sat next to this Burmese guy. We're gonna call him Lal. And so Lal was about 5'3" and was one of the most interesting characters I think I've ever met. First thing that he does when he sits down on the plane next to me is he decides to tell me that he's going to Burma to get married, which is very nice. Good for him. The guy that sits next to him, he calls his brother, and I later found out was just his friend. But it really gets interesting once we take off, and the standard airplane service comes around, and he asks for 2 massive cups of whiskey and proceeds to drain them and then tell me his life story, all about how he broke up with his first wife and how she texted him that she misses him, and now he's going to get married to someone new in Burma, and he feels really torn, and now he's drinking about it. And as he's talking, he's slowly getting more and more drunk to the point where he just starts rambling and then finally passes out. 2 hours later, he wakes back up and proceeds to tell me that he's actually going to Burma not just to get married, but to join in the Burmese civil war that's going on right now. And he proceeds to show me a bunch of pictures of his guns and some wounds that he got while he was working at his job, including some really graphic damage to one of his arms. He starts showing me his scars, and then so we're having a good old time, and pretty soon he decides to offer me some gifts, which is, are pretty interesting, but I think we're definitely supposed to go to his future wife. And by the time that I got off the plane, 14 hours later, this guy had laid bare his entire life story and all of his nervousness about fighting in the Burmese Civil War. And it was definitely a roller coaster ride from beginning to end. Fast forward an hour, I decided that I was going to take the metro because everybody's been telling me the metro is dangerous and chaotic, and so I just had to know for myself. And sure as hell, it's dangerous and chaotic. First of all, there's no signs explaining what to do. All the ticket printing machines are out of order. The one that gets you from the Indira Gandhi airport up to Delhi itself is fine. That one's pretty clean and well kept. The actual city metro itself was chaos. I felt like I had to fight people to just to get on the train. Another thing I've noticed about Delhi is people don't believe in lines here. Like in Austin, I'm not a fan of lines, but I'll stand in them if that's what I have to do. People here just cut. There is absolutely zero respect for the queue. So it really is kill or be killed in the Delhi line system. And let's see. Finally, so I came up out of the subway near Rajiv Chowk, which is sort of a place where a lot of hotels for foreigners are, and the whole place was just one giant bazaar, absolutely covered with people selling things and people trying to sell you things. And I didn't take any GoPro footage there because dragging around my giant suitcase seemed like it was already labeling me as an easy target for basically anyone that wants to target a tourist. But when I go through there tomorrow, I'll definitely have to take some footage of it. So it's been a day. I haven't slept in almost 48 hours now, and I'm really looking forward to some shut-eye. But first, I have to hit the gym because no rest days. I'm going to go over the itinerary for the next couple weeks. So I'm in India for a friend's wedding. One of my good friends from college is getting married in Goa, and I decided that this was a wonderful opportunity just to visit the subcontinent. So, true to form, I'm going to make sure that I visit all the Civ 5 wonders, which in this case are the Red Fort, which we'll see tomorrow, and the Taj Mahal, which I'm seeing in a couple other days. In addition, there's just a handful of other things in New Delhi and in Goa that are worth visiting, and so I'm going to go check them out. Yeah, having looked at the amount of time I have here, it's about 5 or 6 days for sightseeing before the wedding. I definitely don't have time to see everything I would like to. One would almost need a month here. I would actually have loved to take a trip up to the Himalayas too, because they're within a day's transportation distance, and I'd love to see them. But that's probably not going to happen unless I really decide to just sacrifice something and go do it. So yeah, tomorrow's going to be the Red Fort. The next day, I'm going to meet with my friend who's getting married and some other friends, and we're going to go check out the shopping scene here and get me some wedding dress. Then next day, I believe, is the Taj Mahal, and the day after that, I'm just going to be wandering around some other very religious sites that are in New Delhi. And finally, yeah, after that, I believe that I just fly out. So let's make the most of it.
But here start is Old Delhi.
Okay. Old Delhi.
Yeah.
Good morning. Due to jet lag, I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning. I decided to work out, and then I went for a nice little drive toward Old Delhi in order to visit the Jama Masjid at dawn. Now I learned 3 things while I was on my way there. First off, traffic doesn't operate according to the same rules here. The lanes don't matter, the stop signs are optional, and yeah, it really is just a giant, crazy who can slide into where festival. 2, Old Delhi is a dangerous part of town. It was just trash everywhere, everybody packed in, just like sardines, and that was only at 7 a.m. when supposedly everyone was asleep. My taxi driver basically said, yeah, you can walk around New Delhi, but Old Delhi, you wanna have a cab. And third thing, places that aren't run directly by like a tourism operator can close arbitrarily. So turns out Jama Masjid was closed until 10:30, so I did not actually get to visit it this morning after all. So yeah. It's now about 10. I'm going to call up that same cab driver because he was kind enough to tell me that he would sort of stay on call to help me out. And we're going to head over to the Red Fort and see if maybe we have time to visit Jama Masjid afterward. And welcome to Lal Qila, the Red Fort. And here's the Delhi Gate, the famous and iconic image that one sees in Civ 5, as well as a really intimidating picture on that police car. Here I am, inside the first vestibule of the Delhi Gate. Not as crowded as I thought it would be. So the area I just passed through is called the Chatni Chowk. This whole fort was built by Shah Jahan, sort of to seal his control over his new capital at Delhi, and he incorporated a lot of components that he saw in other parts of his empire. And this was based on a bazaar in Peshawar, actually. And back when this was a royal palace and fortress, it catered to the luxury silk market and other goods from very far away. Now, it's a little bit kitschier, but on the way out, I still might buy some chess pieces. Walking down this long path to the museum really gives you an idea of the size of this place. This is the biggest fort I have ever seen. Here's one of the cells used by the British when they were using this fortress as a mechanism of holding down India during the 18 and early 1900s. Very bleak in here. Now this is the drum house, the entrance to the palace within the fortress. And here's the covered dais where imperial audiences and proclamations would take place. It's behind glass because otherwise I would definitely be climbing on there. And here's what's left of the Emperor's private palace. You can see that the detailing is a little bit more intact. Apparently they would have things like elephant and lion fights here way back in the day. And here's the Pearl Mosque. Mosque used specifically by Aurangzeb and later emperors. They won't let me inside, but apparently it's entirely made internally of white marble. Ongoing restorations. And this is the Mumtaz Mahal, named after the eponymous wife of Shah Jahan, his favorite queen, the woman who's actually buried in the Taj Mahal down in Agra. This is where she would have lived.
So,
Here's the fort as built by the Mughals, and there's what the British did to it. So true to form, I made two mistakes coming here. First off, I went to the visitor center at the very end, and there's a lot of really interesting information in there, including the Mughal family tree, and just a bunch of info about the Red Fort and where it comes from, and who built it, and what happened to it, and why a lot of the buildings are missing today. Hint, it was the British. But yeah, the second one is that gate that I came through is not the Delhi gate, it's the Lahore gate. So my apologies if you're taking notes, there's the correction. So yeah, I think that's about it for the Red Fort. Let's see what's next. Hidden Mughal relics in the oubliette. This is the Ugrasin Ni Beoli, which I'm sure I butchered the pronunciation on. It's a stepwell. It predates a lot of the Mughal architecture here in Delhi, so it's quite old. In fact, I don't know if there's an accurate date for when it was built, but yeah. Two fun facts. First of all, apparently it's considered a very romantic place, and second, it's considered haunted. Now I'm at Kareem Hotel, and I'm about to try brain curry. Good evening. I got back from the restaurant around 6 p.m., got home, laid down for just a second, and woke up 4 hours later. The jet lag has been hitting me pretty hard, so I'm glad I at least got a RAM cycle or two, because I needed some sleep. I was dying. But yeah, so it's almost midnight now, and so I'm just gonna do a quick daily recap and then hit the hay again. So today, the second half was pretty cool. I met a cab driver named Bobby, who yeah, I know, just incredibly authentic Indian name. And he was kind enough to show me around a little bit. We drove to that restaurant. That was his recommendation, and I thought it was really wonderful. He took me to see that Ugrasen Ki Beoli, which was actually it was really pleasant compared to the hustle and bustle of old Delhi. It just had sort of that, gentle, beautiful, ancient energy to it. I could definitely see myself going there and reading a book if I weren't so worried about pickpockets. Yeah, the goat curry was really wonderful. It was like fat, sort of the texture of fat, but with some more firmness to it, like fat and clay almost mixed, which I know I'm not making it sound very appetizing, but it was delicious, and I'd probably eat it again. So, yeah, no food poisoning symptoms thus far, so I think it was a pretty safe place to eat. But yeah, aside from the truly horrific traffic and the amount of places in Old Delhi that just seemed, I'm not sure how people are still living there, but they are. It was about what I expected. So yeah, I've been enjoying the time here, and I can't wait to see what I do tomorrow. Until then, good night.